Today we have the first official look at the new Galaxy S24 series, including the full specifications and colours. Before we get started though, let me know in the comments who out there is waiting for the S24 series, and don't forget to subscribe to stay up to date with the latest tech. So first up, before we get into the official reveal, Samsung are running a Discover Samsung event where you can get some great offers on their tabs, including the A7 for just $100. Now of course I've placed the link down in the description below, so if you need a new tab or want one for a Christmas present, then go ahead and check it out now. Now back to the Galaxy S24 series, and before we get into the reveal, we've had lots more certifications approved ahead of January's launch, and it's now passed its FCC certification, which also confirmed that the S24 Ultra is going to be using Wi-Fi 7, while the other two models are going to be equipped with Wi-Fi 6E. The S Pen has also passed its FCC certification, and this confirms Bluetooth LE connectivity, as well as giving us a new look at the S Pen. Next up, we've got the official wallpapers for the Galaxy S24 Ultra for all full color variants for those of you that want to enjoy them before January's launch. Now for those of you that want to get your hands on them, I've placed a link down in the description below, so you can go ahead and download those now. Next up, we've got the official renders of the Galaxy S24 series on top of all of the spec confirmations. And if we start with the specs, you can see here for the S24 Ultra, it confirms it's a 6.8-inch display along with the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3. It confirms a 12-megapixel selfie camera with a quad camera setup on the rear. It also confirms up to 1TB of storage with 12GB of RAM, meaning the previous rumors of 16GB of RAM were actually false. And the specs show us a 5000 mAh battery with super fast charging too, and this could unfortunately mean we again only get 45W fast charging when it comes to the S24 Ultra. Now for the S24 and the S24 Plus, it confirms the specs that we've been expecting, although the spec sheet says that while the S24 uses the Exynos 2400, the S24 Plus could be using the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3, although it's the only spec on this list that is actually unconfirmed. Now to be honest, I think this is very unlikely, and the S24 Plus is going to use the Exynos 2400 in certain regions. Now next up, we've got the renders of the S24 series thanks to Windows Report, and they claim that they've acquired the official renders and they've provided them to show us the front and back of the S24 Ultra, the S24 and the S24 Plus. For the S24 Ultra, it confirms all of the previous renders that we've been seeing, and it also confirms that the phone's going to be coming in titanium black, titanium grey, titanium violet and titanium yellow. Now of course, these color names also confirm that the S24 Ultra is going to be coming with a new titanium frame, and they fit with the leaked wallpapers we showed you earlier. Now they also provided us with the S24 and the S24 Plus renders, and these confirm that the new phones will have a more flat edge design than the predecessor, and these ones are coming in a choice of onyx black, marble grey, cobalt violet and amber yellow, so it's basically the same colours as the Ultra, but with different names because they don't have the titanium frame. Now while the renders look pretty legitimate, I'd say the specs do seem to be slightly off in some areas, so we're going to have to wait for further confirmation on those specs. Now for those of you excited for the S24 series though, we're now going to run through the full specs, design and the expected pricing to help you guys decide which one is right for you. For my regular viewers, you guys have seen this, so just skip to the next video, but if you're new here, then make sure you hit subscribe and we'll get right into it. The standard Galaxy S24 is coming with a 6.1-inch 120Hz dynamic AMOLED display. We get a resolution of 2340 by 1080, and it's going to be using Samsung's new M13 OLED panels protected by Gorilla Glass Victus 2. We get a 12-megapixel punch-hole camera for the selfies, then on the rear it's a 50-megapixel primary camera, a 12-megapixel ultra-wide and a 10-megapixel telephoto, and of course it's going to be powered by the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 in South Korea and USA, while European users are going to be getting the Exynos 2400. We get 12GB of RAM and a choice of 256 or 512GB storage, and this is going to be a UFS 4.1. It comes with a 3900 mAh battery, and while fast charging is still unknown, we're hoping to see an upgrade to something like 40 watts, but we do know that we're getting 5G, Bluetooth 5.3 and Wi-Fi 7. Now it's coming with One UI 6 based on Android 14, and it's expected to launch from about $850 to $900, and that's going to be in February 2024. Now next up, we've got the Galaxy S24 Plus with a 6.7-inch 120Hz dynamic AMOLED display. We get an upgraded Quad HD Plus resolution of 3120 by 1440, and it's going to be using Samsung's new M13 OLED panel, and again protected by Gorilla Glass Victus 2. We get a 12 megapixel punch hole camera for the selfies, then on the rear again it's a 50 megapixel primary, a 12 megapixel ultra wide and a 10 megapixel telephoto. It's going to be powered up by the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 in South Korea and USA, and again Europe users are going to get the Exynos 2400, and again we get 12 GB of RAM and then the choice of 256 or 512 storage, which will be UFS 4.1. It comes with a 4700 mAh battery, and while fast charging again is unknown, we're hoping to see an upgrade to something like 40 watts, and again we get 5G, Bluetooth 5.3 and Wi-Fi 7. It's coming with One UI 6 based on Android 14, and it's expected to launch from about $1,050. Now finally, we've got the most premium, the Galaxy S24 Ultra, and with the S24 Ultra we've got a 6.8-inch 120Hz dynamic AMOLED display. It's got a resolution of 3088 by 1440, and again it's using Samsung's new M13 OLED panel, protected by Gorilla Glass Victus 2. We get a 12 megapixel punch hole camera for the selfies, then on the rear it's a 200 megapixel primary camera, a 12 megapixel ultra wide, we get a 50 megapixel 3x telephoto, as well as a 10 megapixel telephoto with 10x optical zoom. Despite previous rumors, it's going to be powered up by the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 in all regions, and it's only the S24 and the S24 Plus that are still going to be using the Exynos. And with the S24 Ultra, we get 16 GB of RAM with up to 1 TB of storage, and of course it's UFS 4.1. It comes with a 5000 mAh battery, and while fast charging is still unknown, when it comes to the Ultra we're hoping for an upgrade of something closer to 60 watts, and we're also going to get 5G, Bluetooth 5.3 and Wi-Fi 7. Now it's coming with One UI 6 based on Android 14, and it's expected to launch from $1,250. So overall, the Samsung Galaxy S24 series remains quite similar to its predecessor, although we do still have some slight changes in design for all three models. The titanium frame should prove very popular on the S24 Ultra, along with a new flat display, and then the flat edge design on the S24 and the S24 Plus also looks a bit more modern. Of course, we've got increased performance thanks to the new Snapdragon 8 Gen 3, and we know that Samsung are including lots of new AI features to really enhance the user experience on the Galaxy S24 series. Now given it's still quite similar to the S23 lineup, I can't see anyone with an S23 rushing for an upgrade, but for anyone with an older S phone or looking to get their first S phone, then it's going to be a great choice. Now as we approach launch, more and more information is going to be coming in, and of course I'll be sharing it as soon as it does, so make sure you subscribe so you don't miss a thing in the future.